Hey there, welcome to day 70. Holy cow, 70, can you believe it? Of my year of solo board gaming. I am, of course, throughout this year, putting up a playthrough recorded throughout 2022. This is recorded well in advance. It is currently March 1st. I think this goes up, I want to say March 11th. This is about 10 games, 10 days ahead right now. We have Adapt or Die Week going on right now. This is the end of Adapt or Die Week. And so far this week, we've been focusing on games that are adapted from another property. And so far, we've done Princess Bride, which was adapted, of course, from a movie as well as a book. We did Black Sonata, which is adapted from Shakespeare in general. And now we have a weird one, which is Rolling Realms, which was released during the pandemic, and then now it has now been released as a board game itself. You can get this as a print and play, but this is an actual retail version with special, cushy, like funky looking dice. Chunky, I think, is the term I keep hearing be thrown around, and I have to adjust this camera so that it is not horrible. Give me a moment here. So how does this fit in? Well, this is a roll and write game based on other board games from Stonemaier Games. So each of the things that you are playing is a board game from Stonemaier. So, for example, Charterstone, Scythe, and Tapestry are all exist as Stonemaier games. So this is adapting other board games into a roll and write thing where basically you are trying to gain points and stars and all of that fun stuff. Now, in the way it normally works, there we go. That we should stop fuzzing in and out. The way it normally works is that when you roll your dice, you roll them. Like, let's say you get 1-6, you write them here, and everybody who's playing can then use 1-6 to decide how they're going to mark things on here. They get to use one dice for one, the other one dice for another of the two. And then also whatever you check off will determine whether or not you get some resources, pumpkins, hearts, or rings. Sometimes you'll get stars, and the whole point is to try to get as many stars as possible. Of course, this being a Stonemaier game, there is a special solo variant. So this is solo mini golf, which is ridiculously long. I went to go watch somebody else's playthrough of this, and they got through one hole, and there's 18 holes. So I don't know how long it would actually take you to complete the entire course here. All I know is that it would probably take you quite a while. So we're going to play through. We're going to go ahead and I put the whole score sheet inside a sheet protector so that way I could go ahead and mark this. And I had already tried early birdie at one point and got it in one. It's not an overly difficult one. So this is the course itself, sort of made to look up like a miniature golf course with all sorts of interesting visual references here. We are going to try hole number 1. We're going to see how we do. We might try hole number 2. I think my goal is to not go over an hour, so that's going to kind of depend. It's going to kind of determine how long this takes. Now, I could do this on stream. I probably should do this on stream, in which case I'd be justified in doing this for like 2 hours. But we're going to go ahead and give this a try. The first hole is fairly straightforward. You are only playing 7 rounds. So normally you would play 9 rounds. You'd roll the dice 9 times and do whatever you need to. But here we're going to play only 7. So we start off marking those. We don't have those available. I'm trying to think if there's a better way for me to do this in terms of arrangement. Probably, but I'm not going to worry about that. The dice are going to be difficult to see because they're going to be off here on the screen. I think maybe I can do this. Yeah, that'll work. I think that'll work a little bit better. Is that better? That's almost better. Yeah, this is the stuff that I should have figured out beforehand. So we'll do, yeah, there you go. That fits perfectly. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do, simply roll the dice, and I'll explain how this works as we go along. So the first thing that we do is we roll a 3 and a 6. Oh, the other thing to do, to get through the hole, you have to score at least 8 stars. So not an overly difficult challenge. I mean, it's relatively low, but you do have to score eight stars overall. So the way it works is that for Charterstone, you can use one of the dice, either 3 or 6, to mark something off here. Whatever you mark up here, you then write the other one down below it. So if I do 3, it'll write a 6 down here. If I do 6, we'll write a 3 down here. If you use a dice to mark off any crates down below, you can mark off all the crates with that number. So if you have 2 or more with 3s in them, you mark them all off. You get 1 star per marked crate. Over here in Tapestry, you'll use the dice to determine what sort of shape to draw inside, and you can flip it, you can rotate it, and once you fill up a square, a 2x2 square, you'll get whatever that resource is, and if you do an entire column or row, you'll go ahead and get that the stars for that column or row. And then finally with Scythe, you can mark a top number to get that resource. So for example, I could mark the 3 off here to get a pumpkin. I could mark the 6 here to get a pumpkin. And then you could also mark off the bottom one, so I could get 3, and to spend a heart to get a star. Ditto with the 6. Or if you have the resource, you can go ahead and just get the whole thing all at once. So for 3, if I had a ring, I could I could get the pumpkin, trade off in the ring, and get the star. And honestly, Scythe is probably the best way to get stars in this, because you only have 7 rounds. You're not really going to get a whole lot via Tapestry. You got to kind of build up here pretty quick. And there is a way for us to do 3-6 so that we get this. So we're going to do mark 6 over here, and so we're going to get a ring. Go ahead and draw a little thing around there. We'll write 3 down here, and over here we will use the 3 to get a pumpkin up here, and we can automatically use that ring to get this star. So now we've got 1 star. Probably just a little dot in the center instead of circling the whole star, because that's going to get a little tedious after a while. But that's our first turn. So we've got 1 pumpkin as a resource, and we've used 1 ring. Now we've got 4-4. So no matter what, we are doing 4s. Now 4 over here, we can actually get the next star. We'll go ahead and do Scythe. We're going to get a ring. We're going to go ahead and mark that resource as well. And I think we just marked that like that, so we'll get a star here. Draw a little star in like that. We can do the 4 either here, so that we fill in a 4 here. We'll get a heart in return. We could also go ahead and try to get one of these knocked out. I'm looking at this in terms of what would be easiest to fill in once I started marking off, once I got a few other things. And I feel like the danger that you run into is that some of these are just going to be really difficult to fill no matter what. Like, let's say you put the 4 in here. How do you fill this square in over here unless you use a 1? Now you can use the rings over here to generate 1s, but you have to kind of do that about maybe turn 4, I think. Let's see, we could, just taking a look at what else we can do here. What else? I'm trying to look at what we're going to leave open. And again, we're probably not going to get that many stars from this. If I do a 4 down here, a 3 and a 3 would finish it, a 4 and a 1, and like it just gets really messy. If I do 4 here, is that really my best thing? A 5 would be really helpful as well, because the 5 would actually get that 2 position in. I think if I go here, I'll get the star. I'll get the heart, and that might be helpful. Could also go down here. I won't get anything for that, but I will start to fill some things in. I'm also trying to see what I could leave open to be able to use the 6 later on, if I do decide to fill this in. I think I'm actually going to keep that in mind, and I'm going to go ahead. can't do the long 5 here easily. Something else to keep in mind. This whole thing is very unfriendly. I think I'll go ahead and do 4 here. It's probably a mistake. But because I did complete the ring, I do get a ring. And now if I wanted to, I could do generate a 2 using the second power of the rings and fill in a 4 here, but there's no really reason to do that. Let's roll again. 4 and 6, okay. Well, if I do 6 over here, I'll need a heart to cross off, and I don't have a heart anywhere else. If I do a 6 or 4 over here, I have to do the 4 and make that a 6. That doesn't really help me a whole lot. I can do the 6 here, cross these off, and now I get a heart. So when I do 6 over here, I can go ahead and cross that off and get another star. Like I said, the side one is probably the easiest ones to get stars in. We got a pumpkin as well. Now the pumpkin will allow us to adjust a dice 1 or 2. Which means one thing that we could do is generate a 2, adjust that die by 1 to make it a 3, and then over here fill this in, because we basically can't revisit any things. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to generate a 2, and we're also going to use the pumpkins. And this will allow us to treat this 4 as a 3, and we'll mark this off up here and fill a 3 in down here. And now we're sort of setting up being able to get a bunch of 3s at the end of this. We do get a pumpkin out of this for the 2, and that's it. Let's roll this again. We're a little off, aren't we? Sorry. I think I might have knocked that a little bit. 5, 5. Okay, so we got doubles. So 5, 5 here would give us we could use a ring to cross that off. Do we have any other way to complete anything over here? I don't think we can use a 5 over here to complete any aspect of this. So we're kind of screwed over here. We're going to have to go 5, 5. This will give us a ring. And then when we go over here for the 5, we'll cross off the bottom one. We'll get a star out of this. But we will go ahead and use that ring pretty much right away. And now we're up to 4 stars. So the big problem is going to be, can we get stars out of the other ones? 4, 5. So we are starting to run out of time. So I think for this one, we're going to go ahead and do, I don't have any of those. We're going to go ahead and go do a 4, 5 here. Get a heart out of this. We could do a 4 here. And the only reason to do that is, we used the 4 there, so it's going to be a 5. The big reason to do that is that we could then use a 1 to sort of like block this off to get at least 1 star out of this. Would the 5 give me anything anywhere? Not really. We're going to go ahead and try it. I'm not looking forward to this. But we've now used the 4 and 5. We are running out of opportunities. 2 and 3. All right. So we will go ahead and use the 3 on Charterstone to get 2 stars there. We have a 2. We can use that to get the heart. We do have the pumpkin to trade in for a star. I think we got to do that. So 2, and we'll use the pumpkin. We get a star here. Cross that off. All right, and now finally, we're we're not looking good here. We are not looking good. We've got 7 stars actually. We only need 1 more. 3, 4. Okay. Well, we're kind of screwed now. 3, 4. Can we do anything anywhere? So we can go with a 3 here to get that. That's not really going to help. We could complete this to get a 1. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to use this to complete this. We're going to get a 1. I mean a 4 out of this, so we'll get this ring. And I know what you're thinking. That was probably a weird decision to do it that way. But hear me out. We're now going to use this to generate a 1, which we will use here. We get another ring. And we will use a heart to score our last star there. And that will actually give us the win. We've used a 4, we used a virtual 1, we still have to use a 3. So the 3 here will get us a heart. And that's it. That's all we can really do. We can't ignore the 1 per game thing unless we have 3 pumpkins, which allows you to then use it. But 3, 4, there we go. And our total star count is, in fact, 8. We didn't get anything in Tapestry. Tapestry, again, is really tough to do, just simply because there's a lot of nooks and crannies on this. We didn't really come close. We didn't try to come close on that. If we wanted to, we could try to use some 1s at the end of it to try to fill some blanks in. But we did what we had to do. We had to score at least 8 stars on the regular mode, not the hard mode. And you count extra resources as 0.1 for your score. So technically we got an 8.3 for our first hand. So there we go. That's the first round. That's 17 minutes so far for 1 hole. So by my count, and this is, by the way, one of the easier holes. It's one of the shortest holes. It's only a par 1. You are meant to finish it in 1. I think it's par 1. Yeah, par 1. So it's meant to be like a little introduction. There's nothing that complicated about it. So, and that still took us 17 minutes. All right. So next up, we're going to go to hole 2. Resourceful. We're going to use 3 different ones. We're going to use Between Two Cities, Euphoria, and Pendulum. And I'm going to keep Charterstone and Tapestry ready for the next one after this, if we get to it. The rule changes. There are no rule changes for this. You have to score at least 12 stars and gain at least 18 resources, whether or not you use them or not. And that is probably the more difficult part, is to get the 18 resources. Now in this one, the way that this works is that you can write numbers in here once you have filled in a row or column. You get a couple resources. This will have to be equal to the lower of these two. You can either outline an octagon with any number. You can use that to do any of these, or mark a specific dice in the hourglass. The contents of all outlined octagons when completing an hourglass, you'll get everything that's marked off up here. And then finally for Euphoria, you mark one number, or you may mark both numbers if a pair is rolled and then use it again. And then gain a benefit based on the sum of that area. So it's, you're going to get a ring early on, star once you got 4 to 10 marked off, and of course these add up to 21. So once you get up to over 11 or over, that's it. You can't. So it's going to be difficult to get the stars on this one early on. And I've tried this one before, and it was really difficult to do. So, but we're going to go ahead and give this a start. Let's see how we do. So we got 4 and 5 as our first one. Now we can use a 4 or 5 over here to do anything. We will go ahead and do one of these to just get this marked off. This is difficult to do because you kind of need at least one virtual dice if you want to get this for maximum benefit. because it's 5 octagons to cross off plus 6 of these to highlight, so that's 11. And you're not going to do that in 9 rounds, obviously. So you need 2 virtual dice. I'm sorry, not. And you kind of got to make the trade-off. Like, do you want to just go for the octagons and then try to fill in the dice, as you know, and just get the 2 stars plus 2 things? That'd be great, but you kind of need also 12 other items from the others, so it's difficult. Now 4 is really good over here. If you go bit by bit, if you go 4, 1, 2, and 3, you can hit 4 stars in a specific side. Now we kind of don't want to do that. We kind of want to get 3 on 3, and then just like for whatever the other 3 rounds are, we'll get some extra rounds. But this is gonna be tricky no matter what. This we don't have to worry about the stars on, but it's going to take at least 3 numbers to fill this whole thing in, to fill an entire row in, and so that's going to be tricky as well. So 4 and 5, we'll use the 5 over here, and we'll use the 4 over here. We'll mark that off. We automatically get a star. We have no resources yet. There's also one where it takes a long time to get your resources, to say the least. So 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is good. We'll go ahead and just cross this other star off now. So we get that knocked out. And then we'll go ahead and do 4 over here just to give ourselves... Actually, let's do the 3. Do we want to do the 3 here? Let's do the 3 here so we get at least a ring. And then we'll go ahead and use that ring right away and make a 1 over here. Put that smack dab in the center. All right, let's roll again. Oh, and we forgot to roll it, write down what it is that we got. We got 3 and 4. Pairs obviously help here because you can do the pairs on both sides, but you kind of don't want to do that as well. So 4 and 5. So we're going to cross off one more here. Let's see. We'll also... I guess we could use the 4 here to just sort of get the star out of the way. Yeah, because even if we do 1, 2, 3, 4, it's now not going to be 4 stars from that. It's going to just be at most 3. So we'll do that, and we'll get the star knocked out. That was 4, 5. Basically a repeat of the first one. And again, we still have no resources whatsoever. So a little daunting. 2, 3. Okay, this is good. We will go... I think what I want to do is I want to do the 3 here, and then we'll do the 2 here. It's going to give us 1 more star. And now you see what the dilemma is. Like I have to mark off 1 thing each round. I can only use it 1 time each round, but now I've made it so that I can't actually get all of these crossed off. I'll try for this one and this one, but it's going to be difficult no matter what. What I could do is instead of the 3 here, let's do the 3 here. Mark that off, so at least that way we have a shot at getting maximum benefit out of this. 4, 5. Okay, another 4, 5. Well, we don't want anything over here crossed off. We will go ahead and do 4 and 5. Again, we still have no resources whatsoever to use. We've only gathered 1 resource overall. 3, 4. Okay. Now we can go ahead and get this. That will give us 1 of these and 1 of these. And we'll get a ring and a pumpkin. All right, so that's the 4. Now the 3... I could use here. I could use that to get that, but I'm going to actually use this here so I can complete that column. And now I've got 3 there. I can use that to generate a virtual 3, or I can use it to generate a virtual number. I'm going to use that to generate a virtual 1 here, so I get that star. All right, next one. We've only got 3 more turns to go, and we are not looking good at all. 1 and 3. All right. So what I can do is cross those off. We'll do the 3 here. Cross this 1 off. This adds up to 8, so we'll get 1 more star here. And we will go ahead and generate a virtual 1. Generate a virtual 2 here. And that way we're continuing along our hopeful goal to complete that. Next one is 1 and 6. All right, so we'll go 6 here, 1 here. The 1 gets us this, gets us another pumpkin, another ring. We also completed this row, so we'll go ahead and get 1 more ring, 1 more heart. We'll use this to generate a 2, generate 1 more star. All right, now here's where the dilemma is. I have to generate a huge amount of additional items. This is not going to be doable. I'm going to get 3 stars for this right now. If I can get the 6, oh no, wait, that was supposed to be 2 stars, wasn't it? So right now I'm at 10 stars, plus this will be 4 stars because it's set to the equal, it's set to the lowest score of the other 2 realms as long as that number is still less than the number of filled squares. So we're fine there. We're at 6, 4, 4. We've met the number of holes that we need. We still have to get the number of resources, which right now we are looking like garbage on. The most we can get from here is 2. The most, unless we get a pair of 5s, which we might be able to if we treat that as if a pair is rolled. One thing I'm not too sure about is whether or not if it comes up for like 4 or 5, can I use this to adjust the 4 to a 5 so I can get both of these crossed off, therefore get 4 resources. I'll get at most 2 resources for that. And this is going to be, I can't really do anything with this. I have to get 2 numbers in there, which means using 3 pumpkins to do that, and I just don't think that that's going to be doable. So I kind of lost this game because I need a whopping 9 resources out of this. Yeah, I'm kind of screwed. What's frustrating is I feel like I was aggressive on this. I feel like I did everything I could to get as much as I could crossed off. Let's see what we get at the end here. So 6 and 3. On the plus side, I can take the 6. That'll be fine. That'll complete that. Plus it'll give me 1 more pumpkin and 1 more ring. The ring I could use to make a virtual 1. And then use the pumpkins to take that 3 and keep it a 3, but it'll allow me to use it somewhere I've already used it. I then still have, is that right? So I'll have 1 there. Let's do it up here and I'll get the ring, but then I still need a 1. Yeah, it's just kind of a mess, unfortunately. Did I remember to cross? I don't think I remember to give myself this. No, I did. Sorry. 6. If I were to get 2 dice, which I could do here, I could then generate another dice of 6. So that would give me, let me try that. So it's a 6. So it's a 6 right now that I've already used. I've already used the 6. Should write these down. 3, 6. I'm going to go ahead and use the 1 here to generate a 1, and I'm actually going to put it here. Okay? That's my virtual dice. I'm going to use the 3. No, I don't think this works. I don't think this works at all. I'm going to take this and use those 3 dice, those 3 pumpkins, to adjust this by 1 to make it a 4. That allows me to get 2 hearts. The 3 hearts, I can cross those off. I gain a die of the same value as either roll die. I've not used Euphoria yet. It doesn't really matter which one I cross off. I'm going to get a pumpkin and a heart out of it. And I think that's as far as I can go. And unfortunately, it's not enough. It's 15 resources. 4, 5, and 7. 16 resources. It's 16 resources. I was too short. Oh, my Lord. Oh, that hurts. That hurts quite a bit. The thing is, if I had not been so aggressive on the stars, I probably would have gotten what I needed. But right now, I mean, my score for my star total is 18, which is through the roof. Now, when you fail a hole, you play it again. On normal play, you start each attempt of a hole. Oh, easy difficulty has it so that you gain resources on each hole. Normal difficulty does not. Normal would just be you got to start again. And I feel like that is just a bad way to do the game, unfortunately. So in debating whether or not to do this again or just move on to the next one and just take it as a fail, because I feel like what would work better is if instead of marking it down as how many times do you have to go through to get this, how short were you on the goal? If the goal here was 12 stars and 18 resources and I was too short, then I took a +2 on the whole. Like that seems to me like a better way to do it. Whereas on the other one, I got a 0. You know, I actually, I think I got exactly 8, so I wouldn't count that as a fail. Because I scored 18, I'm not really going to count that as a negative par. It's just kind of a weird way to do it. So I'm going to mark this. I'm going to do it a little bit differently than the way that they do it here, I think. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark it down as success and then +2. I'm not going to give myself any sort of negatives. You're not going to see yourself get an eagle or a condor, which is the really fancy way to do it, and that's really thick. But I am going to mark down that I was +2 on resources, because I think that's a fair way to do it, I'm hoping. But that is the second one. We'll go ahead and start the third here. Let's go ahead and clear these off. They give you these little pads here, designed to allow you to quickly clean these off. And we're going to need Euphoria to stay. The third hole is called Precision and uses Charterstone, Euphoria, and Tapestry. And the interesting thing about this is that with this particular one, you are trying to, you start with one, the rule change is that you start with one, let's put this where you can see it, sorry about that. You start with 1 pumpkin, 1 heart, and 1 coin. You must score exactly 3 stars in one realm, 4 stars in another realm, and exactly 5 stars in the last realm. This does not include any stars gained from resources. There are no restrictions on which realm scores which number of stars, and it is impossible to get a 5 in Tapestry, which is something you have to remember. And judging from what we saw before, it is difficult to get stars in Tapestry and Charterstone. We might have to aim for the 5 in Euphoria. I think that's going to be the easiest. Aim for 3, aim for 4 in Charterstone, and 3 in Tapestry. So let's go ahead and start this off. All right, first roll. 4, 6. Oh, and I forgot to mark myself off with star, heart, and coin. All right. So, I feel like to get through this, to get any sort of like traction with Tapestry as far as points go, you got to kind of just make a plunge into it. Trying to think of how to rotate this in a way that makes sense. The 6 here feels natural, except then you block this off, and you need at least two twos to fill that in. If you do a 6 here, you're doing a little bit better overall. You can use the 3 here, but it's still kind of wonky going up. If I do 4 up here, how does that work? Can't really fit that in easily. Do 4 here, and that's going to be difficult to get all those 2s around. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this up here. This is symmetrical along the diagonal, so any move up here could be mirrored by a move down here, which is something to keep in mind. I'm going to go for the rings before I go for anything else because I want to generate extra dice as much as possible. So I will do the 6 here and go ahead and get a ring. That is my wife calling. I'm going to take a quick moment and just check that real quick. All right, so we've got the 6 used. Now we can use the 4. If we do the 4 over here, we're going to 6 down here, and I think that's fine. The 6s aren't going to be that much use in Tapestry after a certain point. So I'd rather like build as many 6s down here as possible and then knock out the 6 later. 6s are also not going to be of much use over here. We can now generate an additional dice. We're going to hold off on that, I think. I kind of know how I want to play this one for the Euphoria one, and I don't think... Yeah, actually, we might as well create a 2. Let's go ahead and mark that off, and we'll get a ring out of that. Okay. Let's roll with the second dice. It's going to be 2, 3. All right, doesn't really help over here. 3 would help over here, and 2 would help up here. So let's do the 2. We'll mark those 2 off. And that gets us a pumpkin. And we'll go ahead and actually use those pumpkins to use a 4 over here. And that gets us this. All right. Our first star out of exactly 12. 5 and 6. So this is easy enough. We're going to use the 5s over here. We kind of need a good place to put the 6 in here because it's going to start to get really difficult. We can actually shoot for our first row, however. We'll go here. We will get a heart and a pumpkin, and we've generated our first star on Tapestry, which is pretty good because last time we didn't generate anything. 3 and 4 up here will complete this row, and that'll actually be pretty good. And we have to be careful because then we need one more star, and that's going to be difficult to do. But 5 and 6, that is this. We did that. We did that. We can generate a 1, and I think we will go ahead and do that now here. And then that way we get our second star. Because we do need to get 5 stars out of this. 3 and 6. Okay, so this starts to get tricky. Because we can't put a 6 anywhere at this point. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. We're going to do 3, 6 over here. And we're going to do 6 over here, which still keeps us as 8. So technically, this is still another star. And we don't fill in anything over here. The 3 would have been useful to fill in. We're kind of holding off on that for now. Hate me if you will. 1 and 2. Oh, this is so got this written all over it. We're going to do a 2 down here. That completes the ring. We're going to do a 1 here. That completes a star here. We have the extra ring left over. And we could also generate another dice using the 3 hearts, but we're not going to do that. That was 1 and 2. 1 and 6. Okay, so let's think about this for a moment. We can't use the 6 here. And if we use the 6 here, we pretty much, like, we're not going to be able to get anything else out of this. We'll have some resources, but that's it. We could do 1, 6 here, and then just worry about getting trying to figure out how close I am on some of this. Over here, I have 1 completed. If I complete this, that gives me 2. And I either need to complete this item right here or this item down here. Or I complete this item here and this item, and that'll give me 1 more and 1 more, but it'll leave the other 3. So 3, looking for 3 here. 1, 6 is, I think, what I'm doing. And have I already put the 1 in? I've not. So I'm going to do 1, 6 over here. I think I've been forgetting to collect them. I think I've been forgetting to collect resources on this. Does that make sense? How many hearts should I have? I should have a pumpkin here. So far we've just gotten 1 ring from this plus the stars. Right? Over here we've gotten 2 rings. 1, 2, 3. Starter. Yeah, I should have had an extra extra ring from here. I had 1 heart, 2 heart, 3 hearts, so there should be 3 hearts. I am way off. 2 pumpkins plus 1 pumpkin to start, and 1 pumpkin that I've just added. So that should be correct now. So I've used the 1, 6 over here. Have I used the 6 anywhere else? I've not used the 6 anywhere else. This is going to be difficult to do. I could make it so that it's a 5. And if I made it a 5, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to use 2 pumpkins to make this a 5. And I'm going to cross this off, and that is exactly 10. And so now I have 5 stars here, and I can't get more. That's a huge plus. Okay, so we got 3 more turns to go. 4 and 5. We're going to go here for the 4, which gives us a ring. We're going to go here for the 5, which gives us a pumpkin and heart. I think that's as much as we want to do. We can generate another dice of either value, but we don't really want to do that. We can also generate a 3, but I don't think that's really going to help. The 3 we could only use over here in the Charterstone area, and we've already used the top boxes. Let's see, here we go, 5, 5. This is going to be tricky. Let's see. So I think, if I remember correctly, according to the rules, if you can't use a dice, you just basically get a resource then. Dee. So yeah, you can get a resource if you cannot use it anywhere else. So we cannot use the 5 in here. What we can do, Yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to use the 5 here to generate a pumpkin, right? We're going to use the 5, this 5, we're going to have it adjusted by 1 to make a 6. That allows us to claim all of these. We've now got 4 stars. And we're going to go ahead and use a 3. We're going to hold off actually on using the last one. The 3 would fill in here and give us our 3rd item there and would hit us exactly. But we want to see what we're going to come up with on the last roll here. We get a 1 and a 5. So we need a 1 here, 5 here. If we can't use either, then we just get resources. We could use a 1 or 5 here, but we're actually going to generate a 3. Fill this in here. We get a heart. We've completed this column and this column. We can no longer use the 1 and 5 here simply because we've already used a dice in this realm. So we're going to have to take some resources. I don't know what to do about it. I guess we'll just have to take that 1 and 5. And then that's it. We have won the game. We hit exactly 4, 5, and 3 with our different regions. And that is the 3rd round of mini golf. We're at 46 minutes. Think we have time for one more. And then I'm going to put this away. Let's go ahead and erase all these. All right. 4. Between two neighbors, Scythe and Tapestry. Sorry, between two cities. Not between two castles. Is it between two cities? Oh, nope, there's between two cities. Scythe and Tapestry. Rule changes. For each realm, after you mark a space for the first time, you can only fill mark or spaces that are orthogonally adjacent to a space that is already filled or marked, i.e. up, down, left, or right, not diagonally. Scythe, when marking both a top and bottom number, the bottom number need not neighbor a previously marked number. Tapestry, it is enough that one small square of a full shape you filled out neighbor one previously filled small square. Score at least 14 stars. This is going to be a challenge. And then this will be the last one that we do, I think. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. 6, 6. We will go ahead and do a 6 here. Just make this nice and big so it's got lots of things that it can be adjacent to. We're going to do it this way, I think. I know kind of a weird way to do it. But I'm looking at this, realizing that this will leave a 3 down here and leave some nice, easier to work with polygonal areas. So that's 6, and then we're going to use another 6 elsewhere. We don't really get a whole lot of resources from this early on, and we got to kind of fill in as much as we can. So we'll go ahead and put a 6 here. But this is going to be a challenge, I think. All right. 5 and 2. So which one do we want to go with? The 5 and 2 does have, the 2 has to be adjacent to something that's already been played. So we're going to go ahead and go with 2 here and then 5 here. And we're going to fill in. Do we want to fill this in? Or this in? This would generate a number. Yeah, we'll do it like this because that gives us a ring. Oh, I forgot to write the 2, 5 up here. And then we do 5 over here, which allows us to cross off the bottom one to get a star. We also get a heart out of the deal. All right. So go again. Third one is 1 and 3. That is a no-brainer. We will take this 3 over here. Still adjacent. We're going to get a pumpkin out of that. Now the problem is the 1 over here is not adjacent, but we can take the 1 on the bottom. We could also put a 1 over here just to get that underway. We'll go ahead and do that because we can generate some numbers if we fill in this column first. 4 and 6. So I think the 4 is the more obvious thing to go with. I think we're going to go ahead. This is tricky. Because I could get 6 in there. If I got 6 in there, I could then do 4 over here. Yeah, I'm going to do 6 over here. That completes a heart. I'm going to do the 4 over here. I'm going to get a ring. I'm going to use the pumpkin on the bottom and get another heart. I'm going to generate a number. 1. Get 2 more rings and be well on my way. There we go. That makes me happy. 1, 1. Ugh. That is nasty. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go 1 here. That completes the heart for me. And then 1 here. And then that's, I think, all I can really do. Now, I could use the hearts to generate another 1. I could use these 2. I could use one of those 2 to generate a 2. But none of those are really going to help me mark more things off with Scythe. I am running into a point where I really need to start building up some momentum here. 2, 4. Okay, so 2, 4. The 4 doesn't really help me over here, but the 2 does. I will use the 2 here to get a pumpkin. And then 4 I will put here to get a star and a ring. The ring I could use to get another pumpkin, but it won't be enough to... I could generate a ring, but it's not going to really work that well. That having been said, is it really the worst thing in the world if I just focus on clearing this out down here? I'm going to generate a 2. Get that, and I've got myself a star here, but I have to remember to cross off that other ring. All right, so I've got 3 stars so far. I've got 0 stars for Tapestry. I'm not doing well there. I will be doing well. I think I'm actually doing pretty good. And I'm keeping the adjacency thing straight, so that's the important thing. 3, 5. Okay, so 3, 5. I can, yeah, I'm definitely doing it up here. 3 up here. It's going to generate a ring. That is going to give me also a star and a star. So I've got 2 stars now. So that was the 3. Now I've got a 5 to use. I don't have much of anything that I can really use, but what I can do is I can do the 5 here, and I'm going to go with this to try to get the hearts quicker. And then I can use this to generate, yeah, I can use 3 of these to generate another 3, which allows me to cross that off along with a heart to get another mark down here. All right, so that was a 3, 5. Did I skip one? I'm a little worried I might have skipped one. That worries me. We'll be able to tell on the replay. Maybe I did it. If I complete it by step 8, then it's mute. Then it's moot. I really think I might have skipped one. Because the one there I filled in. I feel like that 2 came from somewhere. The 2. I'm going to assume that I did 1, and I'm not. That is not the correct number of rows. Let me figure this out here. I've marked off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, which means I would have to have 12 plus 5 numbers generated, or I have 3 numbers generated, which I think is more accurate. Because I only use these to generate dice. So I do think that was round 7. So I'm sorry if I messed that up. Round 8 is 1 and 3. So I could go here The bigger issue is the 1 is going to be next to impossible to work with. I can't really just go get that. Yeah, all of these are 1s, unfortunately. I could go here. That'll give me a pumpkin. It'll allow me to adjust the dice by 2. And that'll allow me to fill in something. Okay, so yeah, we'll go 3 here. We get the pumpkin. We have now completed another column. We're going to go ahead and have the 1 adjusted by 1 up to 2. So we can fill that in and then get 2 hearts. All right, and then that's that. All right, we're looking good. Last roll. 1 and 3. All right, so I can either do a 1 down here, which would actually give me this one. You can get at most, you can either get 4 or 6. You can't get both, unfortunately. We're not going to have any more pumpkins, I think. Enough pumpkins to really do this properly. So 4, 4, and 4 is not enough. I need one of these. And none of these dice are really going to do it for me, are they? Yeah, I think I messed up because I can't get over this way. I can claim this as a resource, I just can't get over the 2 and the 1 to get the bottom portions of it. And I can't generate a 5 or 6 because the numbers are just too small. I can generate a 3 here. That'll give me 4 stars total, but it'll only give me 12 stars for the entire thing. If I could get a 5th star somewhere, I'd be all set. That's what's frustrating. But the only way that you can use a dice in a realm is if you use 3 pumpkins. And I'm not going to get 3 pumpkins out of this. I can get 1 pumpkin, but that's it. If I did 1 here, if I did 3 here, I could get pumpkin and a ring, generate a 2 to get a heart, gain a 3, yeah, again, it's not going to work. I can't get to 4 there. I can't get to 6 here. So that's it. I've messed up, and I really wish I knew whether or not it was I had messed up on the count there. That is so frustrating. That is so close to being something I could have actually gotten. If there was some way for me to get these 2 pumpkins, unfortunately, there's just not. And you can't. I don't think you can just simply take a number and say, "Hey, I don't want to use this." So like, for example, if I took the 3 here and I did this here, I could then say the 1 is a pumpkin. All that's really going to do is give me, it's not really going to give me enough. I could generate a 2. Three, generate a 2. The stupid 3 here. That's the problem. You go 3 here. Generate a pumpkin. 1 here to generate a heart. 3 here to generate another 3. Will be 1 pumpkin, Still not enough. Yeah, still not enough. I'm just not going to come into, I'm just not going to hit it. So essentially I will just go ahead and use these. I mean, I got to use these somehow. Just a really bad die roll on the bottom, I think. That's a 3. So we'll get that star. We'll go ahead and do, got the 1 there. We can't really use that for anything. We can't place it there, can't use it there, can't put it there. So we could generate that there. So cross these off to get a 2 or 3. That's going to generate a pumpkin and a heart. We'll go ahead and use these to generate a 3. We'll get that. But unfortunately not enough to really do anything about that. Anyway, that's unfortunate. So close. So we hit that with +2, I think would be the way that I would record that. We hit precision, we hit early birdie, we got a +2 on neighbors and a +2 on resourceful, and I gotta go. I'll see y'all later.